Hey guys, I am Hilt Master. This will be my first video that I will be posting on YouTube. Hopefully I'll be putting up some more, blah blah blah. You know, you've heard all this jazz from other people that have been putting up videos, and I'm just not going to bore you with the same stupid crap. Basically, I'm going to be showing you my Macro-Monarch deck. I am totally stuttering today. It's a fun deck to play. It wins some, it loses some. It's nothing. It's different. It's unlike like Gladiator Beasts or Six Samurai, which totally are cheap and they're not fun. Dark Arm Dragon decks. I don't know what the emergency teleport combination. They all seem to be doing better than this one, but it's still very fun to play. You'll still be able to win a lot if you want to build it. Yeah, I mean, take your own spin or whatever, do whatever you want to do. But I'm going to be showing you the build I use, so let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay? So here we go. And yes, it is a Dark Arm Dragon, Matt. Get over it. Okay, so we got 3 DD Survivors. DD Survivor is basically just the tribute fodder for all the monarchs, because, you know, he comes back and then he can go away, and, you know, even if he's destroyed by spells or traps, he still comes back. It's pretty awesome, as long as there's like a Macro Cosmos out or a Dimensional Fissure, which there are of in this deck, otherwise it wouldn't be a Macro-Monarch deck. So let's go here to 3, count them, 3 Caiuses, the Shadow Monarch. Now Caius is really fun because, you know, he's basically one of the best field removal monarchs out there, but you don't need me to tell you that. But, you know, he's also pretty good in some situations, like you use it on one of your you use it on like DD Survivor or DD Scout Plane or any of your other dark type monsters or your opponent's dark type monsters, and do 1,000 damage, which is really fun, especially when they have less than 1,000 life points and you want to kill them by a special effect just to mess with their heads. It's pretty fun. Okay, next up, 3 Thestaloses. Now this one is really good because my playstyle, I like to do hand removal, because destroying the hand basically limits the options, and if you limit their options, you pretty much guarantee yourself kind of a victory, and that's always a good thing. You know, especially when you remove a monster, because the more monsters that you get rid of, the less monster options they have. You know, if they have, like, they could have all the spells and traps they want, but if they don't get them monsters or get them monsters out, then it's not going to be any good. I mean, especially if it's like graveyard stuff, and if Macro Cosmos or Dimensional Fissure's out, then most of their monsters aren't even going to be in their graveyard anyway, so you're just messing with them. That's a lot of fun. Trust me. I've done it a lot. 2 Mobius, basically, to get rid of all those annoying spells or traps that your opponent has out on the field, or just those face-down ones, to give yourself kind of that extra protection. Mobius is basically, you know, better than other people like Zaborg or Zaborg or whatever you want to call him, and I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's the Earth one. The Earth one. Mobius is much better. So on to the next card. We got 2 DD Scout Planes. He's really good because, you know, DD Survivor, he's good for Monarch tribute fodder. DD Scout Plane is better for like the hand tribute fodder, or also just kind of a defensive wall. And plus, if you have a DD Scout Plane and a DD Survivor out, obviously you're going to want to sack the Scout Plane, because he's weaker. You get to still have the DD Survivor out and that extra 1,000 attack points, because, you know, 1,800 versus 800. Which would you rather have, right? I know I would want the DD Survivor. Okay, so next up we have, what's his face? Raiza, the Storm Monarch. He's really good. You know, your opponent has something useless out on the field, you just send it to the top of the deck, and they can't use it for another turn. It's just going to be useless for them. Cyber Dragon, in case you know, something went wrong and you need another monster out really quick or anything like that, you get, you know, free Monarch. Okay, so DD Warrior Lady, I like her. She's pretty defensive, or, you know, put her in defense mode. Your opponent kills her, destroy it. Otherwise, unless you're like against something like a Six Samurai or whatnot, you can remove it from play, or especially the Glads. You know, DD Warrior Lady can. Actually, I'm not sure about that one. I haven't really ran into Glads yet with her. She's kind of a... She hasn't really made much play against the Glad deck anyways. Let's see here. DD Assailant, he's also good. Same thing with DD Warrior Lady, except his effect's mandatory, but only when he's defeated, so that's pretty nice. Gren Maju to Eiza, he's kind of a placeholder card, but he's still pretty nice. I mean, he's a good placeholder because, 400 attack for every removed from play card, and even though DD Survivor and DD Scout Plane are going to be removed almost all the time, or not removed all the time, he's going to be pretty weak, but definitely going to be a lot more powerful. But more of a placeholder. If you have any suggestions, let me know what I should get rid of for him. And then again, we got another kind of wall and hand removal card. Spirit Reaper. He's good, especially when he does direct damage, and that's another card gone. And like I said, I like getting rid of cards. Okay, so that's all my monsters. And now we're going to go on to magics, or spells as some of you call them. Even the cards call them spells, but I prefer magics. So we got 1, 2 Rotas. Even though with the new September ban list we can have up to 3, I still prefer to have 2 because it makes room for all my other cards. Plus, not really looking for the DD Scout, DD Survivors, or any of the other warriors. It's more for the Monarchs, because otherwise it would be called the Macro DD Survivor deck, but it's not, so it's the Monarchs. Okay, next up we have the two-dimensional fissures. It's a good card, in case Macro-Cosmos isn't out. This still gets rid of the monsters just as well, just not the traps and spells that you want to get rid of your opponents, or to power up the Gren Maju to Eiza, but can't win them all. Nobleman of Crossout, it's awesome, gets rid of face down card, and plus if it's a flip effect monster, it'll get rid of all the other ones. Now since this deck doesn't use it, you don't have to worry about losing any of your flip effect monsters. Your opponent can just be screwed over. Brain Control, more tribute fodder. Steal an opponent's monsters, tribute that for a monarch, and then get rid of another card based off of whatever monarch it is. Now, Allure of Darkness, like I said earlier with DD Scout Plane, it's good tribute fodder for this card especially, because it's already supposed to be removed, and then you get to draw 2 more cards. What's not good about the 2 more cards? More options for you. Smashing Ground, good card, destroys a defense monster with the highest defense. Heavy Storm, kind of, also a standard card, gets rid of, all spells and traps. Of course, it sucks when you have a Macro-Cosmos out and then you destroy it, but then that's when you play something like D-Fish or a face-down Macro-Cosmos. Swords of Revealing Light, just to defend yourself, just in case you're up against an enemy and you can't seem to get anything out. MST, Mystical Space Typhoon, just for that one magic or trap that needs to go. And Lightning Vortex, yet another good card that DD Scout Plane is for. Okay, so now, that is spells. So now we are going to move on to traps finally. Okay, move that back there. Okay, so we have 3 Macro-Cosmos because pretty much one of the easiest cards to get out. Because it's 3. 3 copies, get 1,000,000 of them out, so that's good. It removes all the cards based on what the deck's on. 2 Solemn Judgments, that's to help protect the back row in case anything happens. They do MST or Heavy Storm, it's protected. Bottomless Trap Hole, we have 2 of them. That's to stop your opponent from summoning anything, plus it gets removed, so it's pretty fun. Now, Magic Drain. This works in kind of a double fashion, because if your opponent uses a magic, or a Heavy Storm or a Mystical Space Typhoon, you activate that, chances are they're gonna want to save whatever other spell or magic cards they have in their hand, so they're not going to discard for it. But then again, if they do discard for it, then that's also part of the hand burn. So it works, that's how it works 2 ways. So it's pretty much a win-win situation, because you're also, even though they get rid of 1 Macro-Cosmos or Dimensional Fissure, you're still going to have 3 other options at the least. So then next up is Torrential Tribute. Destroy all monsters, and it's really good, especially with the DD Scout Plane and DD Survivor, because they come back at the end of the turn, so it's pretty fun. And then finally we have Mirror Force, pretty much a staple in any deck that's trying to be competitive. Alright, so that, guys, was my Macro-Monarch deck. Comment it, say what you like, say what you didn't like about it, any changes you think I can make. Yeah, so that's my video about my deck.